And the replay that I will be posting later will include the longer version, which took me around 3 hours, 25 minutes. That is my record for Discuss Both Views lecture. So this is a pretty long discussion, partly because I tell stories of connected to the history of writing. Why did the NMC, the Nursing Midwifery Council in the UK, now only requires nurses to achieve band 6.5 at least for writing? Why are they accepting a score, not 7, in 2018? What happened? So that was the reason why the discussion took very long in the past. So I'll upload this version. I'll upload the longer version so that when you have some time next week, you can revisit the replay and compare which one you like more particularly. So Discuss Both Views is a writing major lecture. So to be honest, there are 5 writing instructions you have to attend. When I say attend, it's either you come to class today, which is we do exactly what we do during Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, or perhaps attend the Zoom, which unfortunately I believe we don't have a participant yet. So I hope that some pupils will come later and replay. So I want you guys to absorb every important piece of information. And when I say important, everything discussed in a major lecture, particularly in writing, will be of great significance to your IELTS journey. So you have 5 instructions. We just did the agree disagree. Today is the discuss both views. The next on deck will be open-ended. To what extent do you agree or disagree? And lastly, do you think the advantages outweigh the disadvantages? The 2 last mentioned instructions, the to what extent one and the advantage disadvantage one, they are the most difficult tasks in the exam. And they appear more frequently towards the end of the year. That is why when students ask me, and they are academic, like you just came here and say I just enrolled today, September, I'm academic, I have to get 7 listening, 7 reading, 7 writing, 7 speaking. When do you think I should take my exam? Okay. To be honest, you should take your exams in February. That's it. I'm going to be honest. You have to take your exam 3, 4, 5 months from now. Because taking the examination, considering the elements of writing in just a month of preparation would not be sufficient. So again, I'm not here to blame you or your decision that you will be taking your exams next week. So good luck. We just saw each other 2, 3 times and you will take your exams next week. So some people just don't get how crazy difficult writing is. On a personal level, when I first started teaching here, I was very friendly to the students. Naging inaanak ko pa nga, sabi niya yung isang anak ng estudyante. No? Ganun ako ka-close sa kanila. And the reason why hindi na ako ganun ka-friendly sa mga estudyante kasi nakakalungkot yung nangyari sa kanila before na they failed the examination consecutive times. On a personal level, on a professional standpoint, I know that kung natapat lang sila sa examiner na okay mag-score, they would even get 8 in writing. Sadly, that wasn't the case. It made them retook the examination 5, 6, 7 more times. 5, 6, 7 beses silang taking just to get the band 7 in writing. Pero sa akin, para sa akin, nakaka-8 sila. Ganun ka-unfair ang writing sa IELTS. And if you're going to ask me, IELTS is the most unfair English examination. Kung friends tayo sa Facebook, you should have by now. Nakita nyo siguro yung post ko. Naka-perfect sa PTE. 90 across the board. Naka-90 siya sa lahat. No? 2020 ko pa siya kinoach. Nagamit niya lahat yon. Nito lang siya nag-take ng exam. Na perfect niya yung PTE. O sabihin na natin, magaling siya to begin with. Nag-IELTS siya. Bago siya pumunta ng Australia. But the scores she got is nowhere near perfect as compared to PT. You want to know the reason why? Gusto niyo malaman kung bakit? Kasi kahit di niyo gusto malaman, sabihin ko pa rin. Yung scoring process ni PPE, parehas ang scoring process niya. Pero yun ay in-upload sa isang software para ang mag-score sa iyo ay computer. Walang human intervention. Actually, meron, no? Around 25 to 30% ng score mo ay affected by human interference. But that's just only a quarter of your score. Majority of which will still be the decision of the computer. And in PTE, meron kasi kaming ways para i-exploit yung system. Huwag na lang maingay ha. May mga paraan kasi para i-bypass, para lokohin yung system na ang galing-galing mo pero in reality hindi. That's like, eh yung tao. Diba? Kahit ang ganda-ganda na ng writing mo, kahit ang galing-galing na ng performance mo, pag bad mood ako ngayon, halimbawa, may regla ako ngayon, o nag-away kami ng asawa ko ngayon, o hindi na ako matae, 3 araw na, tigas-tigas ang tae ko, no? Hindi masarap yung umagahan ko kanina, bad trip ako, lahat ng score, bad trip. Because, you know, even though examiners are professionals, they're humans. And humans judgment, oftentimes, hindi sometimes, madalas, ay hindi fair. Kaya madalas makakakita ka, examiner kita, binigyan mo ko ng 5.5 sa writing. Nagpa-recheck ako, bakit 7.5 yung bigay mo sa akin? Siguro lang, mas trip niya yung content ko kaysa sa trip mo yung content ko. Nagets yung point. That's why it's very unfair. It's very biased. So during discussions, I will also tell you the way how examiners can appreciate your writing. Paano natin sila mas mauuto na paniwalain sila na, huy, tingnan nyo, yung writing na to nag-fit sa standard nyo. Asa mo naman score ko? That's why we do this lecture. I want you to know everything that goes around the writing subtest. So, again, first thing you have to put in mind is that in comparison to all the other subtests, we have listening, we have speaking. Those are 2 easy parts of the exam. Listening and speaking. By the way, Akash, our Indian guy, yesterday, he got 7.5 in listening. He got 7 in speaking. What score do you think he gets during my coaching with him? Puro 6 lang, hindi siya lumalagpas. Pero naka-7 siya sa speaking. May pag-asa. Kasi ako, napakataas ang standard ko pagdating sa speaking. Listening, speaking, madali. Yun lang ang gusto kong tandaan. Anong score niya sa writing and reading? 5.5. Nag-gets yung point? Kung nagtagal siya, mga 1-2 buwan pa siguro, overcome niya yung hurdle niya. Kasi, a lot of people don't understand how critical preparation time. Kaya nga, during tournaments, no, yung mga athletes, hindi lang buwan, taon, hindi na nila nakikita yung pamilya nila, kaka-prepare. Same with IELTS. Akash, we're just talking about you. The Filipinos, when you turn your back on them, they talk about you, right? So we were talking about your performance in listening and speaking. You got a very awesome performance. But writing and reading, they're shit, right? Full of shit, especially writing. I cannot put enough emphasis on how difficult the writing subject is. Quite recently, I have noticed an influx of students submitting their assignments, which I'm very happy about. Because that's the process. I will do the discussion, I will provide the assignment, you will do the assignment, you will submit the assignment. I will tell you everything that is wrong with it. I will praise you about what's good with it, that I want you to continue. But all the things that are wrong, okay, here they are. I will enumerate them to you. Like what we did last time, Akash, before you take your exam. I will tell you, hey, this is bad. If you do this, examiners will also notice this and will give you a negative point for it. They will not give you any merit from it. So you should not do this anymore. And you know, people, they are hard-headed. Tigas ulo. Lalo na yung mga matatanda. Mga matatanda. Older test takers, they are hard-headed. Especially academic. All right? They're fixated on something. They don't want to be coached. They're difficult to teach, to be honest. That's why, in reality, the 2 to 3 months of preparation time, which should be enough already if you're academic, add another month. Kasi yun yung katigasan ng ulo nila. Dagdag ka pa na isang month para lang lumambot ka ng konti. Unat eh. Pagka yung baka, may baboy, medyo matanda na. Mas matagal mo siyang papan. Yun. The difference. So discuss both views. If you will encounter this in your exam. This is the question you encountered in your test. What was the question you encountered in your test? You are very unlucky. Diba? You encounter discussable views, chances of you getting 7 is easy. Now, question is, Akash took his examination 2 weeks ago. And I was right that during Burr months, advantages and disadvantages, to what extent questions, which are. Imagine this, writing is up to the extreme. This is how easy listening is. This is how easy speaking is. This is reading, this is writing. Agree, disagree, discuss both views, open-ended. Look at how difficult. Advantage, disadvantage, and to what extent is. Hindi lang po yung ceiling sa kabilang floor. You getting the point? Listening, speaking, reading, writing, nasa second floor, third floor, sorry. Yung advantage, disadvantage. The difficulty level is set to the extreme. And they appear more frequently during Burr months. Which I was right. Maya, ano natin, anong lumabas sa exam mo? Sabi na to, what extent? Ayun. Tikas ng ulo nyo eh. Sir, gusto ko bahala ka. Again, I'm not trying to discourage you not to take your exams. I'm just trying to tell you, you want to take your exams. Within this quarter of the year, within the remaining days of 2024, you have to prepare like a dog. You have to exert more effort than the candidates during the first 3 quarters. Sila easy lang. Napansin nyo? When I started 2024, there were different phases. After a quarter, different new phases. Third quarter, iba na naman. Ayan. Probably si Ma'am na yung pinakamatagal. Si Sir, tayo na yung medyo mainstay. Hindi nyo na nakikita yung mga mukha nakita niyo natin. Kasi first 3 quarters of the year, they're light. They're easy. The last quarter of the year is full of shit. It's bullshit. I don't know what's within the last quarter of the year. Probably because it's Christmas season, right? And during Christmas season, they need money. So let's fail everyone so that they will take the exams again. So that we get more money. It's business. Okay? At the end of the day, this is business. So trust me. If you encounter discussful using your test, getting a 7 is going to be easy. This is the easiest. Kaya ko itong isang oras lang na lecture. Kahit ganun siyang kadali. That's how easy discussful is. What's your religion, Akash? Sikhism. Which God do you pray to? Many gods. You have multiple gods? Or you believe in one unified being, spirituality, etc. Okay. Pray for this. Okay? God, I hope you don't encounter. Because when you pray, you have to be specific. I don't encounter advantage. To what extent? Discuss both these are open-ended. Lord, let it be, and I will do my thing. Ako nang bahala. Bigay mo lang sa akin itong tanong na ito. Hopefully. Pero, predict ko, mga nasa 20% chance na mag-appear itong discuss with you. So, remaining days ng 2024, mga 2-3 beses na lang siya lalo. Puro ulan ng tuwat extent. Totoo yan. Uulan ng, do you think the advantages are really that? How long will the test last? An hour. This is the last test in the exam. You do listening first. It is followed by reading, then writing comes next. In the actual test, you do writing task 2 first. Can you hear me? Do you understand? What are you going to do first? What are you going to take first? 2 or 1? Task 2. Because if you do task 1, I'm cursing you. I'm cursing you and all the generations that will come after you. Hindi mo sinunod yan, sinusumpa kita. You will not be able to get out of the Philippines. Sumpaan na to, ha? Ayun ito. Okay. You do task 2 first, then you do task 1. Why? There's a reason. Task 2 carries 67% of your total band score. In reality, you multiply it by 2 before you add it with roster of task 1. So imagine this scenario, you have a band 5 for task 1, you have 8 for task 2, you multiply it by 2, that's 16 plus 5, 21 divided by 3, that is giving you a 7. Pinabisado ko yun, gabi pa, parang yung question? You do task 2 first, you put more effort to task 3, you exert more energy to it. Task 1 is, at the end of the day, if you're GT letter, crazy easy. Academic, you have to report a map. The map is already in front of your screen. Pie chart, andun din yun. Kamumula ng figure, it's given. Just have to translate it into sentence form. That's it. But for task 2, you're given 2 sentences and they expect you to generate what? 250 words? Come on. Out of just 2 lines, you have to interpret it in a very argumentative manner, providing facts in the process. And that's what's going to be a challenge. Because we don't read as often as we used to when we were young. Okay? What do you like to read about? Biographies. In the Philippines, they also love reading biographies. Biographies of artists, comedians. Buhay ng iba ang gusto niyong pinuputakte. Dito. Nakahilig ng mga Pinoy sa vlog. Ewan ko ba? Gusto ng buhay ng iba. That's why my wife and I, our YouTube search history is very different. Yung mga YouTube search history niya, mga common. Ano mga pinapanood mo sa YouTube? Diba? Sila Tony Gonzaga, diba? Sila Small yung mga pinapanood ko sa hapon. Ako, pang pinapanood ko mga cartoons, theory sa anime, ibang mag-iiba yung search history. It's common. No? Those influencers, those vloggers know they can lure citizens, netizens to watch their videos because in the end, they will get revenues from it. They will make the videos look and sound enticing. They were going to do stuff to make their lives more interesting. To the point ngayon, iba pati yung anak, binablog niya. So, I just want you to channel. I don't want you to change who you are. That's my wife. That's what makes her unique. Diba? Because of what media she consumes. I don't care about who or what she watches. But the difference between my wife and you guys is that she already passed her IELTS. Estudyante ko siya dati, by the way. So, naging crush niya ako, tapos chinat niya ako. No po, sir. Sabi niya. Kasi may anak na kami, isa. So, naka-7 yon sa lahat, listening 8. Scored. Pasado na siya. Pwede siya manood na YouTube. Eh kayo? Hindi pa. So I just want you to channel your free time. Instead of watching YouTube videos, read one article per day. From Inquirer, from Philippine Star, from Huffington Post, from MSN, the news and opinion section, it can help you along the way. Okay? They're very helpful. So, you will be assessed according to the 4 areas of the language. We have task response. What is task response? Is your ability to answer to the question being asked. In reality, kaya nga, hindi question ang tawag ko. Ang tawag ko sa kanila, instruction. Because for discuss both fields, you are not even asked a question. You are just instructed to discuss. When you say discuss, we have to explain something. How does this become advantageous to many people? Give me situation which these advantages can be manifested. And how can people now enjoy more benefits than disadvantages of this particular scenario? So, number 1 is to follow the instruction. Number of words is 250. If you will only come up with 249, imagine, 1 word short. Isa lang, kinapos ka na isa. 250 is the requirement. You wrote less than 250, what does that mean? You didn't follow the instruction. Since you didn't follow my instruction, you failed the task response. What score are they going to give you? 5. 5 is not what you want. Because imagine this. If you get 5 for task response, even if you will be achieving 8 in coherence and cohesion, 8 in lexical resource, 8 in grammar, you add them together, 3, 8, 24 plus 5, 29 divided by 4. That is going to only get you up to 7. Oh, sir, I still got 7. But if you will be submitting an underlined writing task, there's a penalty of 1. And the penalty is going to be subtracted from your score when everything is added. So in reality, you will only be able to reach the maximum score of 6. If you will get 8 in coherence, 8 in vocab, 8 in grammar. And how many people in this branch got 8 in writing? Only 3. Yung isa pa doon, recheck. At hindi pa taga dito yun. Taga Iloilo pa yun. Doktor. So if you want to get a high band score, the first thing you have to push yourself through is to write more than 250 words. Because you write anything anywhere less than that, your dream of getting a 7 becomes unrealistic. Let's be honest. How can you write about something if you don't know anything about it? Okay? How can you write about something if you don't know anything about it? What if your topic is about leisure activities? Can you write a 250-word essay about leisure activities? Yes! May leisure activities lang, madali lang. Ano ba leisure activities? Pastime. Diba? O ano ba mga pastime? Playing video games, traveling, watching Netflix, pastime activities yan. Hiking, running, yan. What if your topic is about education? Can you write a 250-word essay about it? Can you write a 250-word essay about health? Can you write a 250 essay about engineering, architecture, heritage, culture? Diba? Maybe, but I think this is not my forte, right? Can you write a 250-word essay about being successful? Right? Very general topics. Those are generic topics. But when the topic becomes too specific, we encountered one time about cryptocurrency. What do I, a normal person, know about cryptocurrency? So, hot issues. What are hot issues? Hot topics. They are the ones that are usually become questions. What was the exact question that you were asked during your test? Can you still remember? Go to work? Okay. It's working from home or going to the workplace? Okay. So what your question was is about for people to work, they should study, work and study at the same time, or to just study. Okay. See, it's a very specific question. There are so many questions. There are some questions about coins and paper money being used for transactions. There are questions about housing, questions about homelessness, hot topics, hot issues. Traffic. Is traffic an issue? In the Philippines particularly. I mean, come on. Is e-commerce a hot topic? What is e-commerce? Online transactions, online shopping included. When was the last time you bought something in the mall? When was the last time you bought something from an online shopping app? Which do you think is better? Ano nang mas madalas mong gawin ngayon? Mag-Shopee o mag-shopping? Kilala ka na nga nung courier eh. Ay, si Ma'am Ho, usapan na ho kami niya. So task response. You need to prepare by reading questions, reading newspaper articles, and reading essay samples. Beware of essay samples because some essay samples, especially on Google, are misleading. They are crafted by examiners themselves. Sir, why would they be problematic if the examiners are the ones who made it? Well, you see, examiners, their agenda is to deceive people. Okay, when you fail, you will take the exams again. You have no choice. You will pay for the examination fees once again. So avoid samples from Google. Excuse me. I'm not saying that only my samples are good. All I'm trying to say is that we crafted our samples to the examiner's preference. when it comes to understanding the elements of assessment. Okay? Write adequate number of words. Provide an essay in the time given. Again, 250 minimum in 40 minutes. If you can do it faster, that will give you plenty of time to edit, check your work, and to improve your creation. So this is the example of answer sheet, which you will not encounter if you take the if you take the computer-based exam. This is only for pen and paper-based test. So once again, task response, the number of words, under length, penalty. So if you got 5 here, for example, and then you got 8 in the other areas, yes, you will get 29 divided by 4 to get the average. This is going to yield a 7, but since there's a penalty of 1, 6 will be your maximum score. So you cannot get a band score higher than 7 if it is under length. Kung kukulangin ka maski isang word, your chances of getting a 7 is pretty low. Coherence refers to the arrangement of your ideas in logical manner. And when we say arrangement, we do this by paragraphing. And in paragraphing, unlike the other instructions, which require you to write 5 paragraphs, in discuss both views, only 4 paragraphs are needed. 4. Ilan pong paragraph, ma'am? 4. Ma'am, ilan daw po? 4. So again, this is only applicable for discuss both views. If you encounter other instructions, you will no longer write 4 paragraphs. It depends on whatever instruction is given to you. Because mag-iiba lang naman yan if this is open-ended. Because open-ended, the answer is it depends on the number of questions. The number of questions equivalent to the number of body paragraphs you will include, which again will determine how many total paragraphs you will need. So, paano ang hatian yan? 4, introductory paragraph, body paragraph 1 for view 1, body paragraph 2 for view 2, and then concluding paragraph with your study. So that is how you arrange the ideas for coherence. Again, the scoring process for coherence is CC. So it's not just coherence, it's coherence and cohesion. Coherence refers to the logical arrangement of your ideas into paragraphs, while cohesion ensures that there is a relationship between those ideas using connecting devices. So you will be using connectors, you'll be using conjunctions. So if you want to add, you will be using in addition. If you want to add details, you will use furthermore or moreover. Then, if you want to contradict to show contrast, then you have to use contrasting signals like in contrast, in comparison. On the other hand, again, on the other hand is one of my favorite connecting devices because it gets you to the next topic, to the opposite end of your discussion, and it contains 4 words on the other hand, which are much simpler to spell versus nevertheless, 1 word lang, 13 letters, na mali ka pa ng spelling, -1 ka pa sa grammar. So, pick your poison, Okay? Sir, what if wala po akong mga ganong words? What if wala po akong mga furthermore, moreover, in addition? But what if wala po? Di wala kang cohesion. Kasi examiners are looking for those signals. Kaya nga siya signals. They are transition devices. They are looking for the clues na gumamit ka talaga nun. So if they will see that you did use them, it will be visually seen. They will notice that, oh, gumamit siya ng mga connecting device. Bigyan natin ito ng mataas na part sa coherence and cohesion. So I'm very particular with task response and coherence and cohesion. Why? 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 Because in the Philippines, according to the recent data given to us by the British Council, Filipino test takers only managed to get 5.8 in task response and 5.3 for coherence and cohesion. Do you know what our score in vocabulary is? 7.1. You know what score in grammar is? 6.8. So meaning, us Filipinos are good in both vocabulary and grammar na magaling na nga tayo dun to begin with, dun pa tayo masyado nag-focus. To the point na hindi na natin nabibigyan ng pansin yung dalawang important areas. So anong karaniwang reason bakit ang baba ng task response? That's the primary reason why our task response sucks. Underlength. 1 out of 5 test takers submit an underlength writing task. What is the reason behind that? It's because simply that candidate who took his or her exam on that day doesn't have the slightest idea about the topic because that person didn't prepare, didn't read questions, didn't read articles in advance, which made him or her fail. Again, a fifth of the population. If there were 23,000 test takers, that's what? About 4,000? Ang bumagsak because underlength agad ang task mo. So we don't want to fall for the same mistakes those people did. You're different. You are a 9R student. So we want to avoid this scenario. You can write more than 250 words. How? Read questions, read articles, read sample essays of certain, which I always upload, by the way. I'm not failing you. Di kita binibigo na makarating sa'yo yung mga impormasyon. Kung hindi mo yun nabasa, sino may pagkukulang? Eh kasi po, tampaling kita. Nakakarating po yun. Ina-upload namin sa Facebook, ina-upload po namin yun sa Messenger, ina-upload po namin sa YouTube, pati sa description nandoon. May Discord pa. Ina-at everyone ko pa. So kung may 3-4 na notification ka after the replay, meron ka. Kung hindi mo yun nabasa, ikaw na lang may pagkukulang. Sinusubo na sa'yo, wanga ka na lang. Okay? Coherence and cohesion, people. This is a very important thing to understand. Coherence refers to the arrangement of your ideas into logically arranged paragraphs. How many paragraphs? Introductory paragraph, body paragraph 1 for view 1, body paragraph 2 for view 2, and then concluding paragraph, bringing the total of paragraphs into 4. You cannot write anything more than 4. If you write 5, you fail at the coherence. So now, there's coherence. But why did you still fail? It's because you didn't use cohesive devices. Cohesion is when you use connectors for your advantage. You will be using words to connect ideas. Kasi kung magkakahiwalay sila into paragraphs, how can you show that the ideas are unified if you're not going to use connecting devices? Examiners are looking for them. Hinahanap nila yan. And if they don't see them, wala akong makita. Wala akong makitang furthermore. Wala akong makitang workover. Wala akong makitang in addition. Wala akong makitang on the other hand. Wala akong makitang for example. Wala akong makitang to conclude in conclusion. Wala akong makita. Bagsak sa cohesion. Which is a common mistake among Filipino test takers. Again, numbers don't lie. 5.3 for the national average in coherence cohesion for this country. It's a shame. We already know what we need to do. Arrange the paragraphs, use connecting device, and yet you're still not doing it. It's a shame. So please don't fall for the same mistakes people in the past committed. I don't want to see your faces by the end of the year. I want new faces. Like the usual. People will come in here, they will pass the test. Don't look back. Don't ever return. Hindi kayo magdala ng mga pizza dito. Diet ako. I'm on a cut. Huh? One way of showing thanks, sabihin nyo lang sa amin yung tanong. Okay na kami to. Sir, ito po yung tanong sa akin. writing. So ito po yung mga tanong sa akin sa speaking. Para saan yun? We compile them, we share them to the students. Para kapag nakita kaming mahirap na wala pa kaming sample no, isasama namin to sa discussion. Nagets? Yun lang. Okay na sa amin. Thank you. May magdala ng bilao ng pansit. Lechong manok pwede. May nagdala ng Starbucks dito, sir. Thank you po. Ito po. Hindi naman ako nagsa-Starbucks. Masyadong mataas yung sugar content. Tsaka yung creamer. Sa flour lang sumasaya. Pag ganun. Diba? Do this seriously. Write the number of paragraphs examiners would appreciate, depending on the type of task given. Write more than 250 words. Use connecting devices. Again, vocab and grammar at the end of the day, you're already good at them to begin with. Why? How come that we Filipinos are so good at vocab and grammar? Because we've been doing English since we were kindergarten, for fuck's sake. When I was in kindergarten, ano ba yung mga subject doon? Articles. Ano ilalagay mo sa harap ng apple? A or an? Kinder pa. English, ganito, what is English? Level ng vocabulary natin. To the point na, sabi na nga ng mga examiner, please, huwag kayong gagamit ng mga vocabulary na kakaiba. Kasi ang weird na eh. Sobrang kakaiba na ng words na ginagamit niyo. You're weirded out by it. So use simple rather than complicated English. So sa vocabulary, our rule here is to avoid copying words from the task description. You have to come up with an original essay. How to do this? Well, you can either paraphrase or reword your task description into your introduction. Avoid highly technical words like jargon, mga medical terms. No? Mga nurses dyan, hinay-hinay lang kayo. Avoid redundancy. When you say redundancy, there are so many ors, there are so many ends of your essay, like the citizens and inhabitants of particular place or region. Isa lang yung sabihin. So you have to clean it up. Avoid using contractions. They're considered informal. Avoid using very informal vocab. So if we are recommended to use simple English, it doesn't mean that we will be using English that are on the elementary level. For example, I am happy. My mother is happy. My father is happy. We are a happy family. Sana grade 2 na lang ang exam mo. Grade 2. So you have to at least use the language to explain, express your argument form. So avoid natin yung mga words like kids. Ano pa? Good, bad, happy, sad. Because they are what? We are used to it. Ang tawag doon? Sawang-sawa ka sa word. It's a cliche. What's cliche? Sino may boyfriend dito? Taas naman. Asawa. Taas naman. Mga asawa na kayo, ma'am? Kinakahiya niyo ba? Mga asawa niya. So may asawa na si ma'am. Halimbawa lang mo, ano na nangyari? Kasama ng babae, nahuli mo, pinibigyan mo. Na babae, pinibigyan mo. Pinibigyan ulit. No? Sorry, I love you. Sorry, mahal naman kita. So, dating yung point na nakakatawa na, yung po si cliche. Ano po ba yung mga cliche na English phrases? Tulad na, time is gold. Ano pa, health is wealth. Sama na sila dyan. Sawa na. So, huwag na kong gagamit ng mga ganun words. Ha? No cliches, no quotations, no idiomatic expressions. Ano po ba yung mga idiomatic expressions? I will give an arm and a leg to go to Australia. So I will give an arm and a leg, I will do everything. It's raining cats and dogs, it's raining heavily. The boon and bane, huwag kang gagamit ng mga. Because idiomatic expressions are indirect way of communication. And this should be formal. So no to indirect approach. Okay? Okay. Why is discussable cues not the same with the other tasks? Simply because discussable cues doesn't even inquire of your opinion. They just want you to present your ideas related to the matter at hand. So let's talk about the first question. Excuse me. Let's talk about the first question here. Some people think that personal happiness is directly related to economic success. Others argue that happiness depends on completely different factors. So, on the one side, the spectrum, there are those people who think that for someone to be happy, they need to have a lot of money. Do you believe that? If you don't believe that, give me your money right now. Will you be happy, Akash, if you are 10 times richer than what you are today? Will you be happy? On a general standpoint. What about if there are so many rich people all over the world? There are so many wealthy individuals all over the world. And some of them, they got the fame, they got the money, but they're depressed. Some of them even commit to suicide. Again, this is a very taboo topic to discuss. I don't want to dive into it because we need to have a professional psychiatrist, right, to be able to discern everything. But that's it. Some people are not content with what they already have. So if money is not happiness for them because they already have money, what do you think are the other factors that you believe will contribute to happiness? Now, other factors besides money that can contribute to happiness. Peace of mind. That's vague. When you say peace of mind, where will this peace of mind? Diba? Ang hirap ipaliwanag. So you have to be specific. Okay. If your children are successful, diba? You can finally tell yourself, okay, I did my job. My children are successful. I can't thank the heavens enough. I've done my best. We were able to do it. You cut ties with your toxic relatives. That's peace of mind. Lalong umuutang ng it's like kasi your relationship with family. Richest man in the world today. But tomorrow, that's the point. That's the irony, right? It's ironic. Can't enjoy your riches anymore. Because you're bedridden, you're about to die. No one is on your bedside. Your relatives hate you. You're divorced. Your kids don't want to see you, but you're the richest man in the world. You get the point. So we brainstorm, huh? If we think about the concept. Some people say that healthcare and education should be the responsibility of the government, but others think that it is the responsibility of the individuals themselves. So on the first side of the spectrum, we are given this idea. What do you think will happen if we have a comprehensive healthcare system that will support the citizens, not just the rich people, but also the impoverished ones? But you get sick, you cannot pay for all your bills because it will take you millions, but it's a good thing you have this policy in you that can potentially aid in paying your bills without breaking the bank. Do you think you would like the idea? Yes. But at the end of the day, some people believe that healthcare and education are individual responsibilities. Hindi mo dapat iasa yan sa government. You need to bring your wallet into the table because your health is your own need. That is why we are given options, right? Do we have free education in the Philippines? Yes, we have public schools. Although we have to pay for like uniforms, we have to pay for like socks and shoes, etc. Essentially, we don't get to pay the teachers. We pay for them indirectly through taxes. Because the government are the ones giving them their salary. But in reality, we pay them indirectly because everything we do is tax. We buy chewing gum, there's tax. We buy some shoes, there's tax. We purchase something at McDonald's, there's tax. You own a business, we're crying out loud. If you own a business, about a quarter of it goes to the government. Your salary, there's a deduction, tax. You have PhilHealth, you have Pag-ibig, you have SSS, you have so many government fees to pay. That's how that's how the government can afford paying for the salary of teachers. That's how they can afford building infrastructure like libraries and classrooms and schools to begin with. That's what we can enjoy because it is comprehensive. But the thing is, what if I don't want to enroll my child in that school? Why? Imagine 70 kids in one classroom. And the teacher is a 75-year-old woman. Ay, tamad na kayo mag-away-away dyan. Bumili na lang kayo ng mga candy. Ano natutunan? Get the point. But I'm rich. I can pay for my own child's education. Okay, don't want there. Do I have any other choice? Yes. I can bring my wallet into the table, enroll my kid to an exclusive school with about 100,000 pesos tuition fee for grading. So in a year, you will spend 400,000 pesos minus the expenses. Siyam lang sila magkakaklase. Grade 1 pa lang, may robotics na sila. Very advanced. Pero mahal. Diba? Those are options. So introduction. How to do the introduction. So I will teach you how to make an introduction, how to make a legitimate introduction right now. Opening statement, be neutral about it. No need for you to say you agree or disagree with the concept. So for your first paragraph introduction, what you need to do here is to just generalize plus paraphrase. When you say generalize, you will get the main idea from the topic itself. What is the general consensus about it? What's the main point? What's the main topic? What's the focal point of it? And then you paraphrase. This is the first view. This is the second view. No need for you to mention your opinion, because if you do, you already failed. Guys, imagine this. Your discuss both views does not require you of your, it does not require you of a stand. So when you put stand, when you put an opinion in the beginning, it's like you are inviting the examiner to fail you. Like, hey, examiner, look at my introduction. There's a stand. And you don't need a stand here, right? That's why, come on, fail me already. Ibagsak mo na ako. I can pay for another round of exam. Anyway. So kung talaga nuknuk ka ng tigas ang ulo mo, sige, maglagay ka ng stand o ng opinion sa introduction. But if you want to pass, please don't. No opinions, no bias whatsoever. You just have to paraphrase the task description. Yan. So how are we going to paraphrase? Simple. First, underline keyword or take note of the keyword. Some say, what are we going to replace it with? What do you think can we use as words to replace some say? Few? Can we use several? Can we use many? Yes. Many people. Can we replace people? Many people. Many what? Instead of people, many individuals. Say. What can we use to replace say? Patay. Ang ena. Ganito na lang ba tayo? Oh, ano pamalit sa say? O, thought. Di ba? O, instead of thought, because hindi pa naman tapos, think. O, di ba? Many people think. Ano pa sa think? Ano mga pwedeng pamalit sa think? Claim. Oh, what else? Argue. Many people claim that. Many people argue that. Many people think that. Many people believe that. Many people are of the opinion that. Guys, hindi lang tayo hanggang dyan, ha? Many people express. Oh, instead of people, individuals. Many persons. Instead of many, several. A lot. A lot of. Knowledge from experience. What can we replace? Knowledge from experience is better than knowledge gained from books. Pwedeng personal experience. We cannot replace experience here. Again, the requirement for your introduction to be paraphrased versus the task description is that your introduction must have 4 to 6 new words. They are not requiring you to change every single word because 1 to 2 words included both in your task description and introduction can be used as direct reference of one another. Na nandun pa rin yung identity niya in the end. So, personal experience, first-hand experience, better. What can we use to replace better? More beneficial. More advantageous. Provides more benefits. Than what can we replace books with? What word do you think can we use to replace books? Reading material. So how are we going to paraphrase this? Many people today claim that personal experience offers more benefits to learners. However, some argue that there are more advantages of using reading material for information acquisition. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is now your legitimate paraphrase for your introduction. Ulit-ulit daw. Copying ko, sir. Many people today claim that first-hand, para hindi na tayo paulit-ulit sa personal experience, offers more benefits to learners. However, others argue that there are far greater advantages that reading material have to offer. That's it. Is there an opinion here? Am I showing that, you know what, I'm biased towards... Meron ba? Wala. Sabi ng iba, ito. Sabi naman ng ilan, yan. Magkaaway kayo. Yun siya. Okay? That's it. That's your introduction. Is it difficult? You just have to change words. Is changing words difficult? No. Come on. Masyado mahaba. Yeah, no? Many individuals are of the opinion that acquisition of information can be done easily through personal learning experiences. However, others claim that knowledge acquired from texts is a more reliable source. And that's another way to put it. Eto, napakadali. Diyos ko po. Eating at restaurants is convenient. And it is much cheaper. Discuss both views and give your opinion. Okay, gawa tayo. Eating at restaurants. What do you think can we replace eating at restaurants? Dining in a restaurant. Diba? Offers many benefits to more individuals. That is why a lot of consumers prefer this. On the other hand, there are still those who claim that home cooked meals provide better health and economic benefits, advantages naman. Diba? Wala. Easier to crunch. There are some individuals that opt to eat at restaurants. However, some prefer to eat their meals at home at their own expense. Tinagalog mo yan, maiba gustong kumain sa restaurant, samantalang iba gustong kumain sa bahay. Yun lang. You just have to express it using your own words. Tingnan nyo ha. Some people think that happiness is directly related to economic success. Here it goes. Now take a look at the first part. This is a mirror of this part. The meaning of happiness is different for everyone. Some people argue that eto na, economic prosperity, increased wages, and reduced commodity prices are few factors that have a direct influence. However, eto na, others argue that happiness depends on completely different factors. So since you provided a physical manifestation about money here, which are economic prosperity, increased wages, and reduced commodity prices, you can also provide the physical existence of what are the other factors that contribute to a person's happiness. So other individuals suggest that good interpersonal relationships. With whom? With family. And the other factor is health are among the factors for one to become pleased. So see, this first part right here is a direct mirror of this. And whatever is contained here, same goes. They are same representations of one another. Another way, some people think that the best way to reduce crime is to give longer prison sentences. Some individuals assert that extending prison sentences, longer, extend natin, is the best way to address the increasing rates of crime in many countries worldwide. Others believe that there are better alternative ways of reducing crime. Nevertheless, there are those who support alternative methods which they find to be more effective. So they mirror one another. They are the exact representations of one another. So, let's use some highlighters here para makita nyo ano yung ibig ko sabihin dyan. Some people believe that the aim of university education is to help graduates get better jobs. So these days, more people are deciding to pursue university studies. That's true. While some are of the opinion that the only purpose of university education is to improve job prospects. Siyempre, kaya nga tayo nag-aral. Kasi yun yung gusto maging work, right? Others believe, ito na yung kabila, that there are much wider benefits. So bukod dun sa getting jobs, iba pa makukuha yung individuals in society from university attendance. Others think that that both the individuals and the society can benefit from it in much broader ways. So are you seeing the resemblance? Whatever is in the green part from the question is exactly shown in your first sentence. And whatever is in the purple zone is on the second part of your introduction. Kaya po ba? Papalitan lang yung words. Parang nalungkot. Ito na may pinakamadali eh. Oh. Sige, gawa tayo. Pakadali lang ito. Oh, many people. What do you think we can use to replace many people? A lot of individuals. These days, want their nation to organize an international sport competition. Meanwhile, mga connecting words ha. Meanwhile, on the other hand, however, others oppose the idea due to the problems they could bring. Okay, problems it could bring, which is hosting an event. That's it. A lot of individuals these days want their nation to organize an international sport competition. Meanwhile, Others oppose. Others appeal. Others contradict such idea due to the problems it could bring. There are many individuals today who hold the view that allowing a country to organize various world sports competition would enable them to gain numerous advantages. Meanwhile, other citizens are firm in the notion that such events would only bring more harm to the host nation. This is my sample months ago. Questions about the introduction? Okay, the body. Focus on giving reasons, not examples. There's a paragraph in which examples should be written on the body. Do not write a paragraph that is purely example. Make sure your arguments for both sides are equal, which is balanced writing. So for the body one, this is where you will provide your arguments for the first view. The arguments could either be positive or one positive, one negative. And when you move to the second body, you have to follow the format of the first body. So kung ang argument mo sa first body paragraph is both positive arguments, here's the first benefit, in addition, here's another benefit. Dun sa second view, ganun din. You don't go positive and negative because there you will be showcasing your bias. Okay. Now, let's talk about eating at home versus eating in a restaurant. So, intro. Eating at home versus eating at restaurant. Body 1. Ang napili kong path, dalawang positive. So, first positive viewpoint ng eating at home. What's the advantage of eating at home? Tama, eating at home. Teka, restaurant muna dapat, di ba? What's the advantage of eating in a restaurant? Uy! Many choices. You are not limited to the type of food you know how to cook, right? So if you want to eat a Japanese cuisine, I just go to a Japanese restaurant. If you want to eat a Korean one, I just go to a Korean restaurant. You don't have to compel yourself to make the food yourself. What else? What's another positive stand here? Besides many choices. Convenience. How come? Imagine you're an office worker in Taguig. Diba? Magdadala ka pa ba ng kaldero, rice cooker, lahat doon para magluto ka ng pagkain mo ng tanghalian? Hindi. You just order food. Correct? You just open your phone at 11 o'clock, type Food Panda or Grab, then search the food you want. Or you just go downstairs. There are so many eateries all over the place, which saves time and effort. At hindi ka pa maghuhugas ng pinggan. Oh, on the other hand, since you provided the advantages of eating in a restaurant, you also have to provide 2 advantages of eating at home. What's the advantage of eating at home? Health. What do you mean by health? Because when you eat at home, you can choose the ingredients. You will be the one to procure your own ingredients. So you ensure that you only use fresh ingredients. What else? You can measure the amount of fat, salt, or sugar your dish contains. Kasi too much salt, fat, and sugar can lead to health problems. Tsaka walang preservatives yun. Kasi kukonsume mo siya agad. Okay, what else? Practical reasons. yung gastos. So you need to explain, how can you save money by eating at home? Well, first of all, you can give an example. Diba? A kilo of rice today is how much? Around 45, 48 pesos? Correct? Ha? 55 na. Yung 45, 48, NFA lang. Diba? Gusto ko malambot. Oh, 55. How much is an extra rice from a fast food? 30. Oh. Half the price, you only feed one person. But half a kilo of rice, you can feed 4 individuals. Diba? So you can use those types of arguments. Ito yung sa home ha. Pagbabalik ta rin natin to pag nilagay natin siya sa essay. With the rising cost of commodities nowadays, what's wrong with the word nowadays? Is there something wrong with the word nowadays? Yes. Examiners don't like this word anymore. Back in 2018, there were 200 test takers in Cebu. Only one person got a 7. That person is the only one who didn't use nowadays in his essay. So please, wag na pong gagamit ng nowadays. What do you think we can use to replace nowadays? These days, today, at present, mahaba, in this day and age. In this day and age, on the other hand, 9 words again. Okay? People are becoming pragmatic and just make their own dishes inside the comfort of their homes. Persons get to budget their money and wisely spend it on raw ingredients of the meals they're going to cook. So you need to connect it. This is just one paragraph, ha? In addition, more and more people. What's wrong with more and more? This is redundant. So just more people are health conscious. Consequently, full knowledge of the nutritional value of the food they are eating is of utmost importance to these individuals. By preparing one's own meal, a person is assured of the vitamin and mineral content of the food that will be eaten. People can meticulously measure and control the amount of fat or salt in the dish they are whipping up. Whipping up means preparing. However, there are those who prefer to eat in restaurants where they can just sit, relax, and have their favorite meal served to them in a very pleasant, inviting atmosphere. Time is not wasted in buying the ingredients, cooking the dish itself, or worse, cleaning the dishes right after. Furthermore, the meals individuals can enjoy are not constricted by a person's skills and familiarity of the dishes they know how to cook. A family can enjoy an assortment of cuisines from appetizers down to desserts just by looking at the menu of a restaurant or by transferring to another if they please. So sa books naman, people prefer knowledge from books because they consider contents of these to be theoretical in nature. They believe that these contain facts which have been proven through the years of data collection and analysis. An example for this is a nonfiction book titled The Art of Body Language by Charles Bayer that enables learners to understand the personality of a certain person based merely on one's action. Another reason why some favor knowledge from books is due to convenience. Moreover, technological advancements make it easier to acquire the information because the contents of books are already transcribed on computers for easy access. For instance, just by looking at certain web search engines, one will be able to gather the needed information with just a click of a finger. On the other hand, a lot of people believe that knowledge gained from experience is better than that from books since it is based from one's activities. This makes the acquired knowledge more unforgettable and long-lasting. It is being inculcated deep within a person's mind and personality once it has been applied onto everyday living. In addition, specializations in the field of science require first-hand experiences. To illustrate medical-related courses necessitate students to deal with patients in real-life setting. This will make them well-rounded professionals after they graduate. So para naman sa reducing crime, ito po yung aking introduction kanina. Some individuals assert that extending prison sentences is the best way to address the increasing rates of crime in many countries worldwide, which is exactly mirrored here at the beginning of your task description. Others believe that there are better alternative ways of reducing crime. Now, nevertheless, there are those who support alternative methods which they find to be more effective. So first, this is my argument. What would happen if we extend prison sentences? Certain governments have already imposed stricter penalties and longer imprisonment periods for law offenders in the belief that this is the best way to reduce law breaking in the society. They say that such policy acts as a deterrent to would-be criminals. So when you say that, Okay. When you say that, pag sabing deterrent, pumipigil. No? They will allow people to think twice before they come up with a crime. They know that breaking the law can lead to them serving a longer time in jail, stripped of their personal freedom. They will have very little motivation to commit a crime. Furthermore, they argue that lengthier prison sentences can minimize the incidence of repeat offenses. Arguably, many criminals commit the same crimes after being in prison, since the punishment they receive is too light and therefore not enough for them to realize the gravity of it. So, yung bigat nung nagawa nila, hindi pa sapat yung time na nilagay nila dun sa hulungan para ma-realize nila na masama talaga yun. On the other hand, some people hold the view that there are better alternative measures that can be taken to reduce crime. There are those who suggest making education more accessible and affordable, since research shows that criminality is linked to low literacy rates. Being educated allows individuals to secure decent and well-paid jobs and have the means to support themselves, thereby reducing the likelihood of them committing a criminal offense. In addition, others claim that improving the security and law enforcement schemes of countries can be a more reliable method of fighting crime. In some countries, for example, this is done by increasing police visibility and upgrading their surveillance systems. Doon naman tayo sa university education. See, ang dami nating samples. One of the main aims of university studies is to secure a better job. Napaka-direkta, no? Wala nang paligoy-ligoy. Bakit ka ba nag-aral? Para magkatrabaho. Diba? Most people want to improve their future career prospects, and attending university is one of the best ways to do this, as it helps people to develop the professional competencies and skills needed to give them an edge in the labor market and appeal to potential employers. In addition, as further education is very costly, especially for those whose incomes are just enough to get by. Most would not consider it if it would not provide them with a more secure future and higher standard of living. Mahal-mahal na mag-aral sa college. Tapos, hindi naman pala yung magiging trabaho mo, ba't ang tao gagastos, di ba? To these individuals, therefore, the sole purpose of going to university is landing a profitable and highly desirable job. However, entering a university also offers other advantages, especially to the students and the community. Firstly, the independence of living away from home is beneficial because it helps the learners develop better social skills and improve as a person. In the university, students do not learn how to stand on their feet, but also meet new friends. As a result, their maturity and confidence grow, enabling them to live happier, more successful, and more fulfilling lives. Likewise, the society may benefit from contribution that the graduates can offer to the economy. The world is evolving to become more competitive, so countries need more educated people in order to compete. So, those are some of the examples of the body. So the first sentence, if you guys have noticed, for the body paragraph, the first sentence would always be what the body paragraph is about. Like, many people attend university because they want to land a desirable job. That's it. It's all about it. This is going to be what the topic sentence is for this particular paragraph. And then the succeeding sentences will just help you prove your first point. And then you can provide examples. Like in the example I provide for the experience is better than books, or books better than experience. For the books better than experience, I provided an example, an actual book. And in the experience versus book, I used a sample which is a medical course. It's a medical course, excuse me, pag puro theoretical lang, although you will be good by the book, you will follow the instructions by the rule, but you cannot do the task. Let's say a nurse, you cannot inject medications, you cannot insert intravenous cannula, you cannot insert catheters, or you cannot turn the patient, you cannot use the skills needed for you to function as a nurse. It is going all down the drain. Get the point? Nagets ako doon? So, the first sentence of the body will always be about what the paragraph is. The next sentences will explain why this point exists in the first place, and then you can provide samples to prove your point. Clear? Okay. So for the conclusion part, this is actually very critical. You know why? I specifically stated in the beginning, your topic is discussable. no opinions whatsoever. But in the concluding paragraph, this is where you will exercise the give your opinion. Clear po? Ulit. In the discuss both views essay, from the introduction until the body, we are not allowed to put our opinion, to bring our opinion to the view. But look at the instruction. It's not just discuss both views. It's discuss both views and give your opinion. Sometimes it's discuss both views, then give your opinion. Encounter the question. It says discuss both views. No, there's no and give your opinion, then give your opinion. Do I still give an opinion in the conclusion? Yes. Do you still give an opinion in the conclusion? Your question is just discuss both views. Will you give an opinion in the conclusion? Yes. Introduction, no opinion. Body, no opinion. Body paragraph 2, no opinion. Conclusion, you see that the question is discuss both views and give your opinion. Discuss both views, then give your opinion, or discuss both views lang. You still give an opinion. What do you mean by opinion, sir? Okay, so you have this first part. Money is happiness. The second part, money is others beside happiness. Which do you pick? Which side are you on? Money is happiness or money is everything else besides happiness? What's your take? Number 2. Ayaw ng pera. What about you? Number 2? First? Number 1? Paghanap tayo mga mukhang pera. No? Number 1? Pera, number 1 kami. 2. 1. 1 then. 2. What if I tell you right now, you can pick both? Will you be okay? It's actually good that you can pick both. Kasi when you say, money is equivalent to happiness, mukhang pera talaga eh. Kahit anong ganda ng words. Kahit si Sir Irvin pa yung, or si Dr. Heasley pa yung gumawa niya. Mukhang pera talaga. Or, kung pinili mo naman yung number 2, hypocrite naman ang dating. We need money for education. We need money for the basic needs. And if you don't meet your basic needs according to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you don't get to feel secure. You don't get to feel love. You don't feel self-confidence. You don't reach the self-actualization, which means you will not be able to achieve happiness if you cannot supply your basic needs first. That's why in discuss both ways, I have good news for you. We can pick both. In conclusion, although some people say that money is relevant to happiness, which is true, because the basic needs can be met easily if someone is financially secured, everyone should not neglect the fact that other factors must be considered. That's why money, health, and relationship are equally important for the true meaning of happiness. How you make a legitimate. Can pick both. Okay. Eating in a restaurant, eating at home, which do you pick? Home, restaurant. Home. Eating at the restaurant, eating at home. Home, because it's risky in the restaurant because there are so many ingredients you are not allowed to, right? Even I myself, you know what? My wife, she's having tough times looking for where we could eat. Puro kami McDo. The first country I've been to was in Thailand. That was in 2018. And this year we will be going to Thailand again. Sabi ko sa kanya, you know what? When we went to Thailand with my friends, they eat somewhere else and I only eat at McDonald's. Because I don't like too much spice in my food. I don't want too much taste. But my wife always go to Indian restaurants because she wants the extreme flavor. I want burger flavor only. You know? I don't like vinegar. If you want us to fight, open a bottle of vinegar. When I was in college, um, I stayed in a dormitory. That was the time that my family was able to eat paksiw. But when I returned, no vinegar. Vinegar, I hate onions. I hate garlic. Have you seen sisig, Philippine dish? They chop meat parts and they mix it with chopped onion parts. No matter how small the onion parts are, I can remove them. That's my talent. That's how I hate onion. I hate onion. I hate um, garlic. I hate vinegar. Pepper is okay. What else? Yeah, I hate them. Ketchup, mayonnaise. That's why when I order a burger, there's a sticker specially made for you because no mayonnaise, no ketchup, no pickles, only the burger, the cheese, the patty, and the bun. That's it. That's how I like my burger. That's who I am. Fuck you. Ito ako eh. Hindi mo ko dilita eh. Kanya-kanya tayo ng gusto. Di ba? So which do you want? Eating at home, eating at the restaurant? Raise your hand if you want to eat at home. Raise your hand if you want to eat in a restaurant. Okay? Ilan lang? Sino pa? Restaurant? Sino? Restaurant? Sino pa? Ako din. So my conclusion here is several people enjoy home cooked meals for health and practical reasons. But I'm one of those who prefer to dine in restaurants after comfort and diversity whenever the opportunity to do so. Yun ang gusto nila. Bahala sila. Ako, restaurant ang gusto ko. Sorry. Team home nga pala kayo. Although restaurant meals offer diversity and comfort, I personally prefer home cooked meals for health and practical reasons. That's a good point. Kakalaban sa iyo. Hindi nila pwedeng questionin yung opinion. In conclusion, although one of the primary goals of university education is to get the best job, I believe that there are clearly further benefits. If people continue to promote and encourage university attendance, it will lead to a better future for both the working population and the entire nation. Ito naman, ano sa tingin nyo ang better para mabawasan ang krimen? Let's lengthen the prison sentences or let's use alternative methods. I chose alternative methods. In summary, there are legitimate reasons to believe that imposing longer prison sentences is the ultimate solution to criminality. However, I believe that there are clearly more effective ways to deal with this problem that governments need to impose. This is my sample for hosting international sporting events. Introduction, there are many individuals today who hold the view that allowing a country to organize various world sports competition would allow them to gain numerous advantages. Meanwhile, other citizens are firm in the notion that such events would only bring more harm to the host nation. Body paragraph 1, by permitting countries to host international sports events, they could ensure the safety and welfare of their athletes. How? Many studies claim that host countries' participants perform better in competition when they are in their home field. Kaya tinatawag na home court advantage. This advantage not only translates to huge moral boosts, contestants need to win, but also allow for economic benefits as well. Such occasions require the host nation to spend a significant amount of budget for infrastructure, logistics, and food. As a result, magkakaroon ng mga trabaho ang mamamayan. Sa kabilang banda naman, on the other hand, there are various disadvantages to the nations by allowing them become the primary organizers. One drawback is that sports stadiums serve as temporary infrastructures only. Even if the host countries maintain them for local use, they would require significant amount of budget allocation, which would not translate to sponsorships and investments anymore. Kasi tapos na nga ang iyong event. For instance, many international arenas around the world, such as London, Moscow, and Brazil, pag nakita nyo na yung tsura ng mga arena nila ngayon, parang nilubog na ng disyerto, no? They have become areas of desolation. They become ruins of what once was and cannot be used anymore. The massive budget used there could have been used sana para sa poverty, hunger, and housing. In conclusion, there are greater benefits of hosting international events. But ito yung aking opinion, I assert that countries should prioritize the more pressing issues first. Kung mahirap ang bansa mo, huwag ka munang mag-host. Kasi sayang lang eh. Again, yung especially nangyari sa atin sa SEA Games, we spent 90 million pesos just for the event alone. And how much was translated into investment? It's a waste of money. It's a cash cow. I assure that the elation brought by sports competition can be outweighed by citizens' morale if their social problems are already. Kung gusto mong pasayahin ang mamamayan, isolve mo yung ibang issues tulad ng gutom, ng kahirapan, ng kakulangan ng bahay, at kahinaan ng edukasyon. Masasaya sila. Kaysa bumili tayo ng napakalaking talyasa yung lalagyan ng apoy worth 10 million pesos. Na? Ito po yung sa happiness. Ito naman, computers are being used more and more in education. Some people say that this is a positive trend, while others argue that it is leading to negative consequences. With the highly technologically advanced world today, the delivery of education has also been updated with the use of various automated tools. Many people claim that this progress provides many advantages to learners. However, others oppose this idea since they believe they only serve as distractions to students. Ito yung view 1, advantage of computer to learning. There are many positive impacts of computer technology to education. One of the many benefits is the ease of knowledge acquisition through research done online. In the past, people needed to go to the library or interview individuals from far-flung areas for their studies. Now, students can do so conveniently using their gadgets. They could even watch videos of case studies and attend seminars even from the other side of the globe. In addition, teaching styles have also evolved to catch up with this trend. Instructors can give lectures remotely, especially during the pandemic when in-person attendance was limited due to the coronavirus. Now, technology, syempre may disadvantage in it. On the other hand, many persons believe that computer technology offers more negative effects to the learners than benefits it provides. This is due to the reason that internet contains different applications and games which could potentially serve as distractions to students, especially the young ones. Gone were the days when learners interacted with one another to help with a group work, since they can just use their social media platforms to communicate with their classmates. Although this is very convenient today, the development of students' character through participating in such schoolwork is stunted. Conclusion, although the use of computers at school enabled faster and more efficient delivery of lessons as well as acquisition of information, my belief is firm that the educational system must meet the balance of students' interaction through activities and convenience brought by utilizing technological gadgets. In doing so, the system of learning will become more efficient that would lead to a better future. Okay, ginawa ko to before, parang 8 minutes. It is commonly believed that nowadays main factors that affect a child's development are media, pop culture, and friends. A different point of view is that family plays the most significant role. Introduction. Many individuals today claim the notion that one of the many influences in child's behavior and development include the external factors of media, pop culture, and their acquaintances. Despite this, several others believe that the primary caregivers of these young people have the greatest contribution. So, sa body 1, explain natin how does media, pop culture, and friends affect the influence? How does it influence children? At present, young ones are engaged in using their gadgets more than ever before. They use these tools to consume the latest media for entertainment and even watch games and video streamers. As a result, children now look up to these media personalities online, celebrities, and video bloggers. They even talk about them with their friends at school. Because of this factor, they tend to mimic these people, including the way they speak, sing their songs, and wear their favorite pop icons' clothes. Consequently, the young ones can pick up both the good, even the bad behavior of what and who they watch. On the other hand, the parents are still the greatest influence in the child's growth and development. For instance, both the father and the mother can teach the first lessons to their offspring. This can include how to deal with external influence such as social media and peers. Indeed, there could be a lot of songs, videos, and friends as a child can have, but how they handle these factors relies solely on how they were taught when they were still young. This is one of the important skills that parents can impart to their young. In conclusion, the society is bombarded by so many distractions brought about by social media, pop culture, and friends. However, I still find myself in accord with the notion that young ones' behavior is affected greatly by their parents. It is up to them how their young ones will behave regardless of the media. So, ginawa ko din to. Many people believe that since parents want their young ones to be successful, ano to ha, mali yung grammar. Since parents want lang to be successful, they persuade the learning institutions to teach their children only the necessary skills needed for their future careers. However, other individuals still acknowledge the importance of having an array of courses for the learners to make them more well-rounded. Body paragraph 1. Many parents these days enroll their children to school to pick up essential knowledge and skills that will eventually become helpful for their future career choice. For these primary caregivers, the most important thing about learning is ensuring that the little ones can gain profitable and desirable job in the future. It's going to become successful only if the schools focus on the necessary lessons that will prepare these little ones in the next stages of their education for their employment preparation. Teka lang. Hindi ako mautusan. On the other hand, many people still value the multifaceted learning style. It's still the best technique in today's society. For these individuals, even though certain subjects at school do not have a direct influence on their children's knowledge and skill acquisition for future job preparation, they have direct impact on the learner's behavior and development. To illustrate, even though physical education lessons are overlooked by parents, such subjects teach the young ones to have fun and coordinate with their classmates that can be helpful in future employment, since teamwork is what many employers look out for these days. In conclusion, although the parents have the mindset of giving only the best for their children, my belief is firm that changing the structure of today's curriculum would not help this case. I'm certain that all the subjects have their own significance to a child's behavioral tendencies, making them more developed and adaptive as they grow up. So, tinipe ko to 8 minutes. Hanapin ko yung video na to kung paano ko siya tinipe, na, para makita nyo kung paano ko gumawa. Ito po ay napakadaling gawin. Madali. Iba daw gustong tumira sa countryside, yung iba naman gustong tumira sa city. Paliwanag mo lang, ano ba ang benefits ng pagtira sa countryside? Anong benefits ng pagtira sa city? At sa conclusion, anong pipiliin? So, bibigyan ko kayo ng time para gawin yun. Okay, so that will be the end of our